Hello, good morning and welcome to Talking Reds. I think we're live now. I'm Harriet Prior. I'm joined by John Gibbons today and we're going to be building up to the Arsenal game because it's finally the end of international break. It feels like it's been a long time, doesn't it?
Yeah, it always does when you get beat, doesn't it? And when, we lost against West Ham in a disappointing way. Well, all losses are disappointing, really aren't they? Especially when you're not used to them. And so it always sort of drags out of it because you want another game as soon as possible and you sort of have to wait. And so a little bit of a shame, but, 2 days away now and I can't wait to get into Anfield. 5:30 kick-off as well is always, really good atmosphere. So, yeah, really looking forward to the game.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say the mood was a little bit, negative when we went into the international break off the back of Brighton and then off the back of West Ham. I feel like everyone's sort of getting over it now. And I don't know about you, but I actually think the international break came at quite a good time in terms of they could just switch off for a few weeks, not think about club football. But do you feel like it was the worst time we could have just kept going and going and going?
I think from supporter point of view, it's hard, as I say, because you want to get out your mind. You want that sort of win. I think for the players, though, as you say, maybe they would have liked going away. I think they've international breaked quite well. A couple of little injuries and stuff, but in terms of successes of the football teams, seeing Holland qualify, obviously Scotland, getting into the playoffs. Egypt doing the playoffs as well, Senegal, and so although there's a couple of sorts of injury worries, I think generally speaking, for the countries themselves, it all seems to sort of go pretty well. John Henderson scored a very nice goal, and so I think
hat-trick of assists.
Exactly. So I think in terms of them sort of getting it out the system, getting it out the head, it might be good. And also for the management team, I think giving them a little bit of time to think about what has been going wrong, why have we been conceding so many chances, have we been a little bit too open in certain areas and things like that. It might be sort of quite good for Jürgen and his team, Pep Linders and the boys, to just sort of put their heads together and have a little sort of think about that. And also, of course, the other thing is maybe hopefully getting a few back as well. I'm sorry if I'm jumping for your agenda here,
no, not at all.
Lovely to see Thiago training and a couple of the others as well.
Harvey Elliott back way sooner. I mean, not back, but back in training at a more advanced stage than we ever would have thought at this stage. I think. So it's given a bit of time, hasn't it?
So there are certainly positives, I think, from that having sort of a little break, but we'll see. The proof will be in the pudding, won't it? And that'll come for 5 on Saturday.
Yeah, I think Arsenal had quite an unconvincing start to the Premier League campaign, but I think it's fair to say they found their form a little bit. I think they're on an 8-run undefeated game now.
Yeah, 6 wins as well.
8-game undefeated run even, yeah. So they're doing pretty well. They seem to have found a bit of strength in defence, which I feel like was lacking at the start. So do you feel like it's a bad time to play Arsenal, or one that we should still be going into thinking this can be comfortable?
Yeah, they've obviously got more confidence than they would have done a couple of months ago, on that really good run, 6 wins, 2 draws. And I think, you mentioned that tough start, but, it was a tough start on paper as well. They played both City and Chelsea and then Brentford, first home game in the Premier League and stuff. And we saw, how sort of difficult Brentford were to play against sort of in that period. They've struggled a little bit more sort of recently. So I think it was always going to be sort of a little bit of a tough start, especially, after the loss against Brentford. But I think they are more compact. I think, the two defensive midfielders that they play, in front of sort of back four, sort of shielding and then allowing the others to sort of to express themselves from there. Lacazette playing sort of slightly sort of withdrawn as well, just allows them those attacking players, Aubameyang, Smith-Rowe and Saka to get forward and express themselves. And so they're dangerous on the break, and I think that's a dangerous one for Liverpool really. So it's not an ideal time to play them, but listen, Liverpool have still got more quality and we back our boys, don't we? And Arsenal are in a good moment and they'll be feeling sort of confident going to Liverpool, and I think they'll be watching some of those games you talked about there before and thinking, we can do a bit of that against Liverpool, hitting them on the break, sort of balls over the top and things like that. But I'm, looking at the back line and thinking, if we can expose them, if we can expose those centre-halves against our pace and against our quality, that they won't like that either. So it should be a good game. Yeah,
I think you mentioned there a couple of their players like Smith-Rowe. They've got a lot of younger talent that seems to be coming through, and they seem to be using that quite well. On the flip side, with that comes a little bit of inexperience, which I feel like our attackers should be able to take advantage of. But do you think that in the game this week, and for me personally, I think game management is going to be key, because I think so many times we've seen this season, we've gone sort of 1-0 up, 2-0 up even, and we haven't been able to manage the game between sort of 40 to 60 minutes, and we kind of lose it a bit. And do you think that they've gone into this international break and Klopp's trying to come up with a better strategy of how they're going to keep hold of the ball in key moments, but make basically the opposition play at their pace? Because I think that's what they've been kind of lacking.
I think for us, this season when our intensity's dropped a little bit, and we've got ourselves in trouble, and I think that's maybe the key for this Liverpool side, is finding a way of shutting out games, you know, because you can't be at 100% miles an hour all the time. And I think when Liverpool have been flying and you know, piling forward, you know, we've been irresistible, haven't we? But you can't do that in every game, and certainly not in every minute of every game. There needs to be periods where you're just taking some time out of it, periods where you're just making it difficult for the opposition, or maybe just nothing's sort of happening, you know, for 10 minutes or so. You're just seeing yourself, as you said there, Harriet, through sort of stage of the game. And I think that's what we've struggled with, really, you know, when to be open and when to be compact, when to be, you know, sort of going forward, and when to just sort of, you know, settle on sort of what we've got, at least up until sort of half time or whatever. You know, if we'd have got in 2-0 at half time against Brighton, I think we'd have gone on to win the game, but they can't do that. It's 2-1. Suddenly, you know, their managers, you know, able to go into them, get them up, they get the confidence from it and get a point. And so I think for us, you know, I think I don't know what people sort of think in the comments, really, but I don't think it's necessarily, you know, needing to sort of play any better or show any sort of greater quality in terms of when it's going well. I think it's just those periods where, you know, where as I say, where we just want to, you know, relax a little bit, but not sort of relax, you know, from the point of view of suddenly allowing loads of space for the opposition.
Yeah, I think we need to sort of, as fans as well, just allow them 10 minutes of breathing space, because sometimes, especially when we're all back in the grounds and it goes a bit quiet for 10 minutes, we all want more and we all want more of an attacking threat, but sometimes it's okay for them to just sit back and control it. I think there's been a lot of focus around players we haven't got for the game at the weekend, Fabinho, etc. And obviously we know there are a few niggles and injuries that have come through, but trying to be positive, let's focus on the players we have got. Salah's got a really good record against Arsenal. He's scored 7 and 4 assists in just 9 appearances against the North London club. I think there's been a little bit of crowding of Salah in the last few games we played, and people trying to not give him any time on the ball. Do you think he'll be coming out of this thinking this is one I can get back on the score sheet and start getting another sort of rack of games together where he's just can't stop scoring?
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? It's like 2 or 3 games. It's almost a drought, isn't
it? We're all like, is he okay? Does he need a bit of time?
It's almost the drought for Mo Salah, but that's how he'll be thinking as well, won't he? He'll be thinking, oh, it's a couple of games since I scored there. We need to get back in amongst it. You know, you said they had a good record against Arsenal. I think traditionally they have allowed you a little bit of space. Arsenal, I mean, they're a team who allows you to play, and so Salah's, you know, someone who will benefit from that. Whether they're the same in this game, you know, I think that would be sort of very dangerous sort of way to play. And as I say, you know, when I've watched Arsenal recently, they have been compact and sort of sprung from there, really. So I think similar to West Ham, I think Salah will find sort of space at a premium, really. But listen, he only needs one moment, doesn't he? That's the beauty of Mo Salah. He just needs, you know, that 5 seconds where someone switches off, or a defender just gives him too much space, and the next thing you know, the ball is in the back of the net. But also, you know, if he's getting crowded, in theory it should mean sort of space, you know, for other people as well. It was lovely to see Sadio Mane full training after a bit of a sort of injury scare. So you'll be looking
every time you go on Twitter nowadays, it's like, oh god, no. But it's all fine. He's in training.
Just waiting for the training pics. And obviously Diogo Jota as well. Someone's put in the comments here, about Stuart Hamilton. I feel Jota is overdue a little hat trick.
Oh, hat trick.
So yeah, due a hat trick apparently.
You're putting a bet on a hat trick for Jota. So I mean, we'll go with it.
Heard it here first.
My question with the front three is, what does he do on 70 minutes if we're not in the lead and we're not sort of a goal or two up? What is the sub he brings on? Because I think we've struggled with that in the last few games without Firmino. Who does he sort of bring on to make a difference in the game?
Yeah, I think it's fair because obviously, you know, Origi came on and scored against West Ham, but it looks like he's another one who might have a sort of a little injury there as well. Minamino, I sort of quite like as a player, but you've never really thought of him as an impact player, have you? You know, he's had a few starts for Liverpool where he's done okay, and I think he's a nice sort of tidy footballer. But if he needed a goal, you wouldn't have, I don't think, massive confidence, you know, throwing him on 70-75, although he is a finisher. So it is a little bit of a problem for us at the moment, but that's why maybe some, you know, more midfield options, you know, isn't necessarily a bad thing. So, you know, if Henderson's fit to start, we all hope, you think Fabinho will play as well, and then you've got people like Thiago, you know, sort of from there, who's able to sort of, you know, come off the bench as a more sort of attacking midfield option maybe, and just sort of add in a little impetus from there. Like they're all options, but you're hoping they don't need that. Obviously, you're hoping it's all done.
3-0 at half time, we'll be fine.
And we could just sing songs and have a nice time.
I can't believe I've spoken about Mo Salah without selling our lovely Mo Salah talk. So John, do you want to do the honours?
Well,
are we all in stock at the moment?
This Mo Salah has been selling like hot cakes. You've been snapping them up, and why not?
Tom has been down here packing packages all day. He's not seen the sunlight. So
we've not let him out.
We've not let him out.
He's been packing away. But they are back in stock, so if you do want one and you were someone who went on and they were all sold out, they're back on stock in all sizes now as well. We'd also sell gift subscriptions, which are really popular over Christmas. So if you maybe wanted to subscribe, but you haven't quite took the plunge yet, and you've got like a dad or a mother-in-law saying, what do you want for Christmas, Pastor Vinya? Why not say a free 6 or 12 of gift subscription to the Anfield Wrap? It's available on our shop. Just send the sort of link over. We set them up all dead easy for you. Then it's sort of sat there. We do a nice little e-card for them all as well. So free 6 to 12 months gift subscription for you or for someone else who you think would really like to for Christmas. As I said, they are very popular this time of year, so they're available on our shop as well.
What a lovely present. Write it on your letter. Don't put it in the chimney. Give it to the person who's going to buy it for you. There's also a lot of love for our winter hats at the moment.
Yeah, the hats, we can't get them in quick enough either. We are trying our best. We are restocking, so they'll all be back in sort of early December, so you can order them now. But yeah, the winter hats, like Sam has done 3 sort of gorgeous designs for them, and they're sort of selling really well as well, all based on sort of, classic and current sort of Liverpool kits. So yeah, get on them as well. As I say, we're just waiting for a bit more stock because they caught us out a little bit in terms of the popularity. But yeah, you'll have them well in time for Christmas if you order them now.
Yeah. Last thing I just want to look at was a really good piece in The Athletic yesterday by Kiva and I think Simon, looking at basically how our squad are defying the data in regard to the ages of players in the team, and essentially that there was a lot of concern at the start of the season about our ageing squad, but that they all seem to be outperforming those who are actually meant to be in the peak of their age groups. You have players like Van Dijk, and in our midfield, Kate is the only player that's actually listed at his peak. Do you have a sense that our team are just going to keep going and going and going, and we're not really slowing down because of the ages of the team and the players within it?
Yeah, I do, to be honest with you. I know it's something that Neil talks about a lot, and Neil's up nights worrying about the sort of age profile, and I get it, but I think, it's such a special squad. I think they've done the right thing in terms of keeping the nucleus of it together, and obviously you're always wanting to add, and it's a shame a couple of the ones who they've added, in that sort of younger age bracket, haven't been able to sort of maybe make the impact that we would just sort of like them to, really. But listen, it's a special squad of players. I think they're going to achieve great things this season, next season, and the season after that. And so, this is, for me, just a golden period, and we need to enjoy it. And if we need to, do a big reboot in a few years' time, then I'm sure, the new Michael Edwards will sort that out. I can't Julian Ward, that's his name, isn't it? He's got it boxed, don't worry. He's like a chess player. He's 5 steps ahead. Let's just enjoy the boys. While they're here, enjoy this football team, and like Harriet says, they're not showing any signs of slowing up yet. Yeah, no reboots needed yet. Defying all the odds. We'll be doing all the build-up across video and audio to the Arsenal game this weekend. We're really looking forward to football being back at Anfield, so we think it's a great time to subscribe. You can join just on our YouTube channel. There'll be a little join button below, I think. If you just want the video stuff, you just want the members video stuff, you can join straight on YouTube. Or if you want the audio and video, go to theanfieldwrap.com/subscribe. And like Harriet says, loads of great stuff coming out in the build-up to Arsenal. We're doing previews, where we've got Alex Miller, who's one of the coaches at Liverpool, talking about past games against Arsenal, but also he's had a really good statistical look at this Arsenal team. That's who I stole all my best points from before. That's who made me say, if you thought John sounds surprisingly clever, Alex Miller, I had on the phone yesterday, it's his job and that. So loads of great stuff, and obviously straight after the game as well, the only people doing audio and video content from L4 straight after the game from the pubs around the ground. So as Harriet says, fantastic time. And we have a lovely time, and we think you'll have a lovely time too. So come and join us. Up the Reds.